This British girl group took us to the beach with their hit single Pure Shores, but then it got cold and the group split up over a jacket. This is the track by track through All Saints' second album, Saints and Sinners.
We have reached over 3,500 subscribers on YouTube. Yay! Thank you so much for joining the CCTV crew. And if you're on a podcast platform, make sure you give us that rating and follow because it really helps us grow and get into that algorithm.
Right. And special shout out to our Patreon producers, Emily, George, Lily, Louis, Julianne, Janelle, Shaquille, Jonathan, Jasmine, and Darius. Woo! Come on, producers, let's get it. You can also join our Patreon at patreon.com/cctvpops and help us choose episode topics. And don't forget, we do have a free tier, so don't worry about that. Just join us over there on Patreon.
Yes. Okay, so another All Saints episode. So we did do the debut album.
Yes.
So now we're on to the second album, which was definitely, I think, one of the more divisive ones. I'm very excited to hear what you thought. Because for me, I obviously know this album very well. I grew up with All Saints. And yeah, it was an interesting one to witness as a fan, just because you could kind of tell that their relationship was kind of already a bit cold.
Oof.
Kind of
Okay.
already, yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, really excited to talk about it today. And also, I've never seen All Saints live, and they're definitely on my list. And I'm sad I didn't go a few years ago, but I really didn't have the money for it then. But if they ever reunite again, I will fly over. But last year, I did see 3 of the 4
Yeah.
because Nicole and Natalie were at Mel C's concert, and they sang To Become One with her. And Shaznay, I got to see at a Christmas show in London. So, Melanie, that's all I have left, at least.
Literally at this point. So for me, I can't say I'm the biggest fan of the group. We did listen to their first album, and I was like, oh yeah, this is really cool. So yeah, I mean, I do have broad taste in music. Of course, we talk about all of that music on our show, but I think because they weren't super big here, I wasn't listening to them when I possibly could have, and like any kind of memory that I may have of like never ever again super vague, may have been in a movie. Can't recall, right? So this one's gonna be interesting for sure. And also, there's some sounds on here where I was like, this ain't like the first album.
Yes, it's
So
quite different. Yeah,
yeah. So it's interesting for sure because I was like, I
yeah.
don't know if I can get through this one. I don't know, but then I did, and the scores will surprise you out here, people. They might surprise you, might
Oh,
shock you, make you a little mad. I don't know.
oh man, I'm excited. You'll see because as we get through their discography, all their albums are actually quite different. Like their sound
Yeah.
changed quite a lot by the more
Yes. Like
recent
Studio
stuff,
One was like what, like
kind of
Scottish.
reggae. Yeah,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
then it gets into more adult contemporary kind of stuff. But yeah.
Come on,
Anyway,
AC.
we're talking about the second album today,
Word up.
and it is Saints and Sinners, which was released in October of 2000, and it hit #1 in the UK album chart and the charts all over the world. So,
Yes.
with member Shaznay co-writing the majority of the tracks and contributions from members Natalie and Melanie, the album did mark a sonic departure from the first album, and it emphasized the contributions of William Orbit, which is the renowned producer of Madonna's Ray of Light album.
Ah, yes. And in later interviews, many years after the release, the members spoke about the external pressures surrounding that second album at the time and alluded to the album not being their best work due to that. Though the promotions for the albums were filled with tension and cut short due to the group's dramatic split, the album is still certified twice platinum in the UK and contains some of the group's most well known hits. So, like we mentioned, we're going to go track by track and discuss the production, vocals, lyrics, and give our ratings for each of the songs.
And first up, we have Pure Shores, which is done by Shaznay Lewis, Susanna Melvoin, and William Orbit. And it was released in February 2000 as the official single from the Leonardo DiCaprio film, The Beach. And so Shaznay was shown a short clip of the film and wrote to Orbit's already produced instrumental. And she came up with the title Pure Shores after it was written, not even considering that it's not a lyric in the song. And the single hit #1 on the UK charts and actually became the second best-selling single of the year 2000 in the UK, only behind Bob the Builder. And it was nominated for Song of the Year and Video of the Year at the 2001 Brit Awards. So start us off. What do you think of Pure Shores? Because I would say next to Never Ever, this is kind of their other kind of main signature hit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so for me, it's like I think only because of my own sensibilities in terms of music. This one, even with Never Ever, I was like, Girl,
Mhm.
girl, what's going on? I had to get into it. This is the same situation with this song. Like, is it bad? Is it good? That's up to you to decide. Depends on your taste. For me, I like that there is a world that's developed in this song. I think that utilizes the four verse voices present. There's haunting vocals. The harmonies are super tight. The melody of the song is really hypnotizing. Like the "I'm coming" refrain, "I'm coming closer." That's great. The allure in their voices are undeniable. The dream pop sound, the ambient kind of acid electronic thing is happening right now is it fits their voices. It fits what
Mhm.
they did in the first album, and I feel like the ambiance within the group and the overall sonics of the song is believable. I think the instrumentation feels really dissonant and it gives me like nighttime at the beach. So I guess when whatever she was hearing, regardless of the theme of like the movie, Shaznay was thinking, I want to create some kind of thematic element here. And that was the water. That was like the cleansing. And I was like, okay, I'm here for that. The guitars in the track really interesting to listen to throughout, and everything else is arranged and mixed in a way where I feel like I'm in Atlantis or something. I was like, it just feels really aquatic and really deep, and the concept lyrics overall of the sound and the song are well thought out. The bridge swells a great deal. It makes me feel like there's like the stakes are a little bit more raised. I will say though, it didn't catch me like, oh my god, this is the song of the
Mm.
century. Can I say people liked it? Absolutely. Like this sound in the 2000s had the girls at by the neck. So I can see why it was really popular. It's not a bad song. I don't know if I would have written it myself. I know it sounds so strange. If you don't know me, I do songwrite and sing, but I don't know if I would have written it myself. And I think that's also a testament to Shaznay's creativity because the song is kind of not all over the place, but the structure is strange.
Mhm.
It only brings you back in when you're at that chorus. I appreciate that for sure. Now, you listened to it when you were, like, younger, right? Like, I
Yeah,
don't
I
know
was
how
like
yeah,
10. Yeah, yeah,
right.
yeah.
Compared to now, like, has your opinion changed? Like, what do you think about the song overall? What did you think about then when you were, like, a kid?
I
Like, "Oh,
actually like it more now, I
okay."
think, because
Yeah.
I think there is something there the whole kind of darkness of it, you don't really grasp that as well when you're younger,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think and also now that I actually know Madonna's Ray of Light album a bit more as well, and I kind of understand William Orbit's, like, signature, like,
Mm.
dreamy kinda thing that
Yeah.
you were just describing, I also understand why this song is so good. I will say back then, I remember I was watching the acoustic performances and stuff that actually got me into it because I think melodically it is a really beautiful song and it is
Yeah.
really, really well written. Because especially with Melanie's voice, who she can sound kind of very nonchalant,
Oh, yeah,
so there is just this
yeah.
kind of lethargic quality to the verses
Mm.
and that I'm coming kind of hook.
Yeah.
Like it really, there's so much tension there. And then the chorus is where the intensity comes and there's kind of a
Yeah.
euphoria to it
Yeah.
as well. So I think just as a balance, I think it's pretty awesome. I love the kind of rockiness of the bridge that you were mentioning as well. Like,
Mhm.
I love how intense it gets, and then having Shaznay kind of do that 3rd verse and then kind of do that extra there's, like, 2 bridges here where
Yes,
she
yes.
then does the, "I'm coming, I'm not drowning," and it's really building in, and it feels like the waves are getting stronger and stronger. So yeah, I think it was just really cool the way it's written because
Yeah.
it really does have that, like, unpredictable, kind of scary, but calm. Like, it shows both sides of the ocean. Like, it has the calm side and it has kind of the scarier side of it.
Yeah.
And the movie itself is quite dark, actually.
Mhm.
I've only seen it more recently. It was way too intense for me as a kid. It's
Valid,
very
valid.
bloody. It's quite a bloody
Oh,
movie.
come on.
But yeah, I mean, speaking of the visuals, what do you think of the music video?
That video was so creepy.
Before you get into actually, I want to shout out Right Back at Ya,
Yeah.
because they discussed this era also a few years ago on their
Oh,
podcast, and I think it was
yeah.
David who said those nighttime scenes, like the
Mhm,
night vision stuff, it's
mhm.
like when you watch raccoons on a nighttime, like, CCTV
Oh my god.
footage.
And then, like, in your
And I
trash
just
can.
always think that now when I see the Pure Shores video,
Oh
so
my god.
shout out to Right Back at Ya.
That is brilliant because literally they do look like creatures in the night. And I mean, if you are into the whole like idea of sirens and them calling you to drown you, um,
Mm,
that's what it gives. It's giving like they're calling you, they're passing the camera. It almost reminds you of I know where it's at when they're like kind of walking in the beginning with that white screen, but this time it's just a lot more eerie. And then you have Melanie just staring at the camera like she's trying to end your life. So it's really unsettling. There's like a spotlight. There's something very
yeah.
dark about it. And obviously there's like interpolations with the movie here and there. The
Yes.
kind of you can't do much with it. I just feel like it was a little bit of a rush job. Whatever, no problem. It definitely stands out because I have never seen a video like this in my life.
Yes, definitely memorable.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's effective because
Yes.
again, there is an eeriness to the song and
Yes.
a darkness to the movie. So them
Yeah.
doing kind of this weird, creepy music video kind of works. I do think
Yeah.
it's funny they mentioned that they obviously filmed this like in the dead of winter in some beach in England.
Oh no.
So they were like, it was like you'd think if they'd let us go to some beautiful tropical beach, but no, they
Let me see
were
what we got, girl.
not having fun.
Sit in front of that camera and shut up.
Yeah. And then speaking of the performances, I mean, it really is the acoustic ones that really stand out for
Yeah.
me.
Yeah.
So that final performance before, like right after the split at the sports awards, it's so
Yeah.
funny because they sound so good. I
Yeah.
mean, just Natalie's definitely trying to out oversing
Woo!
everyone because she's like, I
Done.
need to be heard at this point.
Right.
But they still sound amazing. So yeah, kudos to them. Like the blend will always be there at least.
When you're talented. But yeah, that live performance at that Top of the Pops was wild because I don't know who was
Oh, the dance routine.
bouncing with the somber track with them swinging arms. Oh
Yeah.
my gosh.
Lots of weird arm angles and stuff.
Oh
Yeah.
my God, get me out of here. Like that was too much.
I enjoy the reach and then the little
Oh my God, yeah, yeah.
spin.
Yeah,
That's probably
yeah.
my favorite part.
They're all laughing at that point. I don't know what to
Yes.
say.
Yes. I will say, fun fact for the
Mm.
very nerdy fans, they
Yeah.
did actually switch up who did the harmonies over the years because Melanie used to take all the highs, but her voice got much lower as they got
Mhm.
older.
Yeah.
So Natalie now takes the highs. There's also some performances where Natalie actually sang the second verse. So yeah, there's a couple different arrangements they've done vocally for the song.
Look
So
at Shazna Sharon. It matters, y'all. It
it
matters.
does.
All right. So, all that being said, even though I think you watch the show, you're new here, you do not know. I give like really strange reviews, but then like my score does not reflect. Even if I just don't, I can appreciate the song is good, right? So it's not my favorite. I will give it though an 8.5 because the songwriting is really good. It's just for me, I didn't latch on to this as much as I would the other song we're gonna get into. Single,
Okay,
yeah.
that's fair. Okay, I will give it a 10 because I love it. I do think it is one of the best kind of British pop songs of that era.
Respect, respect. All right, moving right along to All Hooked Up. And this was done by KG and Shaznay Lewis. And this was released as the third and final single from the album in January 2001. This single peaked at number 7 on the UK singles chart. And in Natalie and Nicole's autobiography, Natalie claims that the second verse is actually sung by her in an attempt to mimic Melanie's voice. And Melanie ended up lip syncing to it in the music video, which of course did not have any scenes of the girls filmed together. So, due to the song's slightly inappropriate lyrics, they couldn't perform it on the typical television shows that were more geared toward children. Unfortunately, I guess. But there is only one full performance of the track that exists, and it was right before this performance that the infamous fight that I mentioned at the beginning of this video, they were fighting over a jacket. And this fight was between Natalie and Shaznay, unfortunately. And this was the final straw that led to the group's split.
Hmm.
All right, so
Yes.
here we are with All Hooked Up.
Yeah, this is an interesting one.
Yeah.
I will say, like, as a kid getting the album, this was not one that I listened to very often.
Right.
As I've gotten older, I do find the song quite funny. Like the lyrics are quite silly, which I can appreciate. The production's interesting. Like KG definitely has a signature sound, right? Like
Yes.
this definitely matches the sonics of the first album. It has the hip hop elements. There's some
Yeah.
of the rock sensibility there. There's just an attitude and a confidence to it that is just what the All Saints vibe and brand is just all about. Like the kind of like we don't really care what you think about us, and we're just gonna say what we want kind of thing.
Yeah, I felt that.
Yeah, I just think melodically the song just isn't great. I think the harmonies are amazing, and that's maybe what elevates it a bit. And I think just
Mhm.
their vocal execution in general, because again, it does have that kind of cold, nonchalant thing. Because
Yeah.
even though they're kind of like this guy is bothering them, like it's not even worth more effort for them to sing it with any more emotion than they are, right?
Right.
So I appreciate. I think I appreciate the whole song as a concept more than what it actually is.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
yeah, regarding the whole Natalie versus Melanie on that second verse thing, I'm pretty good about getting people's voices correct and stuff.
Yeah.
I do think it is Melanie on the verse, but there is a second "Call You a Fool" that does sound like Natalie, so maybe it's like
Oh.
that verse is like a mix of the two or something. I don't know. But they've never
Mm.
performed the no, so they've performed it they performed, like, just the first verse on, like, a tour medley, so they have not
Ooh.
ever we've never seen them sing the second verse ever again after this jacket performance,
Right,
so
the jacket performance is wild. First of all, that jacket, honey, was not worth the fight y'all were fighting over, okay? Because, honey,
yeah.
the live performance of them doing it and Melanie's, like, the only one in a pink sweater is hilarious. Like, everyone's giving grunge, it's giving, like, jacket, and she was like, "No, no, because 'cause I'm leaving after this." Like, she was it's so funny.
They
But honestly.
literally look like they came off the street and are on that stage, and they do not wanna be there.
Can I say honestly, hang on, that's my big gripe with this group. A lot of times when they perform like on top of the pops, like I get you're supposed to be like the nonchalant group, but like you already did that for the first album. You don't have to sit there and come again like you're going to a recording session. But I digress.
Yeah.
So again, they should have not been arguing over that big old coat that Shaznay was wearing. It was not worth it. But yeah, I mean, this song is what we come to expect from the group. The verses are good. They're very cool.
Mhm.
Yeah, the harmonies enhance the main vocalist points. Yeah, the harmonies make me feel like the song is a little bit more tolerable than what it is. It's that old school hip hop meets the rock sensibilities. It makes it a little bit more interesting. Um, that line, God, the chorus is so lackluster. Like, I know you want a piece of my zazz. I know
Mhm.
you want a piece of my zazz. It's not good. It's whack. I'm not even gonna like. It's not like. There's so many other words that could have been used. I feel like it's not even cheeky. It's just cheesy. Because I mean, I don't know anyone
Yeah.
who actually says you want a piece of my ass. Like that's like who says
Maybe
that?
they did back then.
I'm sorry. That's what y'all was saying.
I will say I like Nicole's when she says it. "Why is this fool all up in my ass?"
Yeah.
I think it's funny.
That's what I was like,
Yeah.
that's what is funny, right? But again, it's not cheeky for me, it's just cheesy. Like, up in my face would have been fine. Like, something
Mm.
else could have been used here. Like, this is just lost its cool for me because of that. It just makes things a little bit lame for me. I
Yeah.
will say KG as the male featured voice is a good idea to have a different vocal break from the female voices and also provides another perspective. But boy, oh boy, when I heard that, I kept listening and I was like, this is the single y'all chose?
I know.
That's my biggest gripe. I'm like, this is the single.
Weird choice.
It is. It felt like they were like, well, if y'all gonna break up, I'm gonna bury you. That's what it felt like. Like that's because this is not.
Well, they weren't gonna break up yet, though. Like,
Oh, that's
they still
true.
had a tour booked, like, you
That's
know?
true. I watched the documentary. You're right. But the point is,
Yeah.
this is not like their best work. Like, let's be real here. You guys can come for me if you want. I love this song, but you know there's
I'm
better.
gonna be honest and say I don't think any of the fans really love this song, and I don't think they love this song either.
Somebody likes it. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, what did you think of the video?
Okay, the video was so funny because I'm here for like, peeping toms getting their just desserts. I'm here for that. The whole voyeuring man thing was so creepy. Weird men in the vents, men in the walls, men. I was like, oh no, yeah, that was very strange. If you've ever seen Candyman, Candyman would come through the medicine cabinet because it was based on somebody actually unaliving another person, like as a real crime through the
Mhm.
walls. So I was like,
Oh
ooh.
god.
It gave me the heebie-jeebies, but the girls look great. Like Melanie, her scene when she's on the bed, she looks good. She's
Yeah.
hot. I was like, wow. And wow, look at this lady. So like, it was nice.
That's
I
the
can
takeaway.
yeah,
Yeah.
literally, I hate that I only remember her, but like smashing people through the wall. I remember that part. But I
Yeah.
also remember her bang over her eyes and her lips looking amazing. Look right
Yes.
now, twins. So yeah.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, this just the whole concept of the video doesn't really match the song. Like, I feel like it should be like a girls' night out, and they're just blowing off guys, like, in funny ways or something, you
Yeah,
know?
no, they said we're gonna ruin their life,
Yeah,
break
we're
their
doing this, like,
necks.
creepy voyeuristic thing.
Yeah.
But the way they all beat them up and I think
Yes.
that's all fun. But yeah,
Yes.
it is kinda sad they didn't have any scenes together.
They were like, "Listen, girl." You'd be lucky I even showed up.
Yeah, that's right. Oh man. Okay, well, I will say, like I said, it has grown on me because I'm just gonna appreciate it as it being very silly. Like I
Okay.
think if I go at it with that angle, I like it more. So
Okay,
yeah, I'll give
solid.
it an 8. How about you?
I gave it a 7.5.
Okay. All right, moving on to track 3, we have Dreams, which was done by William Orbit, Paul Sim, Booga Bear, Chris Bonacci, Karen Wilkin, also known as Samantha Fox, and member Natalie Appleton. And Samantha Fox, who is a famous English glamour model, had to use a fake name for her credit because apparently the group or the label or someone did not want her name associated with them. Yes.
I mean, she was a bit of a smeg symbol back in the day, a sex
Yeah.
symbol. She was, naughty
Mhm.
girl needs love was not okay in the 80s. Like, I do, no, that was not it. You can't do that. You can't be a
Yeah.
woman saying, "I wanna boink someone," but I'm tired of boinking. I want someone to hold my heart and boink me at the same time. You can't say that. Things are different now, obviously.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I mean, William was like, "I'm gonna give you guys trance vibe. I'm gonna
Mhm.
inject every song that I touch with trance, and you're gonna
Which makes
love it."
sense then when you
Yeah.
see why he was made, why Ray of Light is like his big opus. Yeah.
Yeah, which is so interesting because this is like I have not heard that man except for Ray of Light, and I
Yeah.
he probably deserves more flowers than that. But William Orbit definitely has a distinct sound where you almost look forward, not almost, you do look forward to what's coming next because every song that's on this album that does have him as a listed producer, I
Mm.
find myself being okay. There are some elements that I recognize, but ooh, what's this? So with this one, I liked it because it feels cool and it still has that interesting bounce and groove. I think the abrupt stop and start of various instruments before the second verse is so cool. Like things like that is really interesting to listen to, because you're expecting a consistent streamline of music, but then you get these random stops or these random breaks, and you're like, "What's going on?" It's very abrupt and almost disorienting, which what the song is kind of creating that
Yes.
inception disorientation kind of going on. I feel like the song is really broody, but the melody is so pretty that it feels like a dream you can't get out of. So it's not like a nightmare, but you're like lucidly stuck in this dream. The song I feel like it's a conceptual masterpiece. I'm using that word not even loosely because I was thinking to myself like everything about this feels like there was a concept, and if they went back to work on something, it was like, "I have an idea for this. Can you make this happen?" And that's why I mean, like, conceptually, I think it's a great piece of work. There's a bridge echoing over itself is so
Ooh.
off-putting, but disorienting, but it's also really pretty because the harmonies are good,
Yes.
and it feels like I'm falling into, like, an abyss. It just feels like the beginning of Gaga's Paparazzi where she's falling into that little hypnosis thing. That's what I wanna feel I'm listening to the song. If you're gonna talk about dreams, you better make me feel like I'm in one and I can't
Mhm.
get out of it. Especially listening to the song with headphones,
Yeah.
it feels like the song's gonna have a terrible ending, and then this bass-driven ending comes in, and it makes the song sound more optimistic, and I'm like, "What the heck? Oh my gosh, this is fun." So I play this one quite often when I was listening to it because it's interesting because it's not the
Mm.
generic kind of like pop girl thing to do. It's just and
Yeah.
it's not like super cool and nonchalant. There's a lot of challants in this. They're very chalant in in
Yeah,
this.
no, I do think this is widely regarded actually, like among the All Saints fans. It's
Mm,
one of their best album tracks. And Natalie doesn't get much in the first couple albums, and this
yeah,
kind of being her main contribution to this album,
yeah,
I think people are just appreciative of that. The production is so beautiful.
mhm,
I love the beginning. It's so like the acoustic guitar and the strings. It's like you're falling asleep,
yeah,
and then it gets weird. Like then it gets like
yeah,
atmospheric, and then this darkness kind of creeps in. Yeah, the really like just staccato synths and this really even the percussion's very kind of stabby
yeah,
too. So yeah, very interesting. Like just different feelings that you can get out of this. And yeah, the build really is so good.
mhm,
Natalie does have a very different tone because normally you do get to
yeah,
hear Shaznay and Melanie the majority of the time. Natalie does have a huskier, kind of thicker, tone in her voice,
mhm,
and then her blended with Shaznay is just a totally different sound than Shaznay and Melanie.
Yeah.
So I think having them to kind of lead everything and kind of be blended together for the chorus, I think is really cool. And then the lyrics are really beautiful too. They're very poetic, very self-reflective, and the melody is it's almost a little monotone. So
Mhm.
then it almost feels like an internal conversation or like
Mm.
just something very personal.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just think it's a really, really cool song. This is another one that has grown on me a lot as I've gotten older. Yeah.
Oh, valid, valid. Okay, so Natalie, you wrote the crap out of the song, boo. 9 for me. 9 for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
I will do 8.5.
Respect.
Yes.
All right, y'all. Up next is Distance, and this was done by Kylie McRae, KG, and Shaznay Lewis. And this song was one of two tracks from the album that was previewed on their first arena tour. And it was originally announced as the first single from the new album, though it never happened, unfortunately, because, you know, the song is songin'.
Yeah,
So,
you think
yeah.
it could have been a single?
You know what? There's a lot of songs that could have been a single over
Yeah. Overall
Hooked
hooked
Up.
up? Oh, yeah.
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 I mean, I will say as a lead single, I don't know if it would be
Mm-mm.
strong enough, you know?
Yeah.
So I could maybe see why the label pulled back on that one. But yeah, I do think it is a good song. There's a nice groove to it. It's kind of
Yeah.
organic compared to some of the other songs so far. It's got a fun percussion. There's some
Yeah.
cool guitar moments in there. And Shaznay sounds great. Like this is so perfect for Shaznay's voice.
Mm-hmm.
She just has such a signature sound. And it just makes everything sound cooler. Like even though these lyrics are like a little cheesy, kind of the
Yeah.
whole like, "Oh, I'm far away from you, and I miss
Yeah.
you" kind of thing. But then she makes it sound like not that cheesy like at all.
Right.
And
Right.
then the backing vocal and harmony arrangements are so cool in this. Like I love that Natalie and Nicole get that little moment that kind of
Yeah.
pops up and it's like a
Yes.
kind of a pre-chorus, kind of a
That's what I
bridge,
said.
kind of a
Yeah.
not, any
Yeah.
kind of just an extra part, but it stands out so much because there's like a warmth to it. Like it's very different from the rest of the song.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I love the way it ends too, that little like acapella kind of thing. Yeah, I really enjoy this one actually.
Yeah, no, I agreed. I have something about the Appleton sisters as well because I was listening to what was it? I was listening to their singles. I'll mention them later too, and a couple other notes and some other songs. But yeah, I was like, they can actually sing. What's going on? This is not like they
Yeah.
can't sing, which stinks. But yeah, the guitar in this one is addicting. I like it. I feel like I've heard this one before. Like I kept listening to this song. I'm like, why do I know this? Why do I feel like I
No.
know it? Why does it feel familiar? But yes, the song is just it's full of all their cool lower vocal tones, and I appreciate that this group focuses on the mid to alto ranged harmonies. It's not
Yes.
super high, it's not super bright. So it just makes it again, it does make it sound um like very smooth, kind of suave kind of vocals. It just makes everything feel grounded. This is something I'm used to with this group, so I can get why they might have been like set on it being a lead single. I'm glad they didn't because it's try something different because you're good at this. We get it.
Mhm.
I did say that the Appleton sisters sound good with the ad libs and that pre-hook chorus thing. I am curious about what the recording would have sounded like with someone else singing the verse. But the live performance for that with their concert like, satisfied that curiosity. I was like, I do wonder what would it sound like. So it's nice
Yeah.
that these live performances exist because we can actually watch and be like, oh yeah, that's what I was looking for. Like, oh yeah, that I didn't know I wanted that. I didn't know I needed that vocal there. I needed someone else to sing that part because everyone is obviously capable. We just didn't hear it in the
Yeah.
recording.
Yeah, I mean, Melanie on that second verse in the live performance, I think she sounded okay. I would have probably actually I'm okay with Shazday getting
In
it
a
in
live
the end.
performance, you think
Yeah.
I think in a live performance it's kinda hard because you're just standing there when you're just recording, so you can
Yeah.
probably breathe a little bit better. I don't think she's sounding that bad. Not that bad, right?
I don't know, there's like a power to Shaznay's voice that I think
Yeah, she
gives it
projects
a bit
well.
more life. Yeah, yeah,
She
yeah.
projects very well, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
the tour performance is okay. I think the dance routine was a little awkward, but it was effective.
You
It was
know what?
effective.
I'll take
Yeah.
it because that's the first time they look like a cool pop girl group, not just showing up for a recording session, so I'll take it 'cause
Take it. Okay, so what do you rate this one?
Alright, so for this one, I gave it an 8.5.
Okay, I will match you with an 8.5. Moving on to Black Coffee, which was done by Alex von Seuss, Tom Nichols, Kirsty, Elizabeth, and William Orbit, and this was released as the second single from the album in October 2000, and it hit #1 in the UK charts. It is notably the only All Saints single not written by Chazné, and it was actually originally written as more of a rock ballad by Miss United Kingdom 1988, Kirsty Bertarelli, for her own solo project. And interestingly, during the recording sessions, there was tension because Natalie advocated for herself and Nicole to be given some of the lead vocals. And though Natalie did get to take a stab at it in the booth, Chazné eventually ended up leading the track, though Natalie does sing lead on the chorus. And for the music video, like they would do with All Hooked Up, also a few months later, it was specifically requested that the members did not have to shoot any scenes together.
Mm-mm.
And interestingly, there is a remix by the Neptunes featuring Pusha T that was released on the single. I had never heard this before
That's
until
funny.
we did research for this album.
That is so funny.
So very random, but
You know,
that's
it
cool.
is,
Yeah.
it is. I listened to it and I thought to myself, well, at least the melody of the song is good because this is the most basic beat ever. It wasn't.
That was Baby Pharrell.
Yeah, I know. It was. Yeah, oh boy, and baby Chad and baby Pharrell. I
Yes.
totally get it, but I can honestly say I was like, wow, good thing this melody is good. But also the original melody, the original production is the superior version.
Oh yeah.
Not because it was Baby Pharrell, but because of the how the song kind of switches in terms of the inflection in the voices. Like it's a great follow up for Pure Shores. It's breathy, it's glitchy, and it sounds interesting. The production elements jump back and forth and juxtaposed with like sounding somber and cynical, and then suddenly it's brighter and more hopeful. So I think that's really good to have. And the song reminded me of something that Sugar Babes could have done.
Mm.
Maybe Girls Aloud, like early Girls Aloud, but it sounds like something they would have done with like Richard X or like Xenomania because it's so strange and it switches back and forth and it has like this like I don't want to be bad, I want to be good for you kind of thing that
Hmm.
Sugar Babes was known for. They're still around, is known for. But yeah, so I like Shazné's tone in that I don't even know that verse,
Yeah.
the bookend verses.
Yeah.
It's it is really distinct, and I latch onto the melody very quickly. So yeah, I like this one a lot more than I liked Pure Shores.
Oh,
Honestly, I liked it more. Yeah,
interesting.
that's why I liked more for sure. Yeah.
I absolutely love this song. I think I would say there are days I would say this is my absolute favorite All Saints song. It's
Mm,
definitely up there. And
yeah.
I've liked it more and more as I've gotten older too. Because again, like some of the other songs we've been talking about, there's
Mhm.
so many layers to the feelings that
Yeah.
are emoted
Yeah.
in these songs. And you understand that just more as you get older,
Mhm.
I think. Because yeah, it's like the lyrics and melody are actually pretty warm, like
Yeah.
especially in that chorus.
Mhm.
But then there's just such a coldness to the way it's produced, and the verse as well is so robotic and
Yeah.
emotionless as well. So I don't
Mhm.
know, it's just a very, very interesting juxtaposition there.
Yeah.
But yeah, the pre-chorus is for sure my favorite with the extended notes. Like that
Yeah.
harmony arrangement and that freeze the moment hook, I think is so, so good. And and Natalie getting to then lead those warm voices
Yeah.
again, it just her and Chazné are almost opposites in kind of how they sing, like in the how they emote and stuff. So it just
Yeah.
ends up in a really well-rounded kind of sound. And then I love the ending as well. Like it's kind of unexpected that you get the first verse, then you get this kind of like intense outro. I
Yeah.
don't know. I feel like every time I hear this song, I hear something different, whether it be in the
Mhm.
harmony or just something in the production. I think it's just a
Mhm.
beautifully crafted song for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. What did you think of the music video?
Oh, yes, the bullet time video. That video was interesting. It's just
Yeah.
like superimposing your stars in a video is always a good time. I'm being sarcastic if you guys couldn't tell. But like, oh God, when you're beefing, you're beefing. I get it. I mean, God, luckily, these girls are not are not this is opposite of captivating, but they are captivating alone. Like they all know how to hold my attention. Like if Natalie was on the screen, I'm watching. If Melly, okay, I'm watching. You know what I'm saying? Like I can go through the list and be like, okay, I'm not just like, girl, this is why you're singing backgrounds. I can look at them and be like, okay, girl, give me face, give me emotive.
Mhm.
expressions. Give me cold. Give me the couples in between arguing and fighting with the bullet time. I get it because it's about like trying not to be a toxic person in a relationship and wanting to do
Yes.
better.
Like,
So I
freeze
get
the
that part.
moment, take a breath.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. Like, well, could be something that we can't take back, and I
Mhm.
liked that. Again, just having these little All Saint girls floating around in the video was just like, okay, I guess. I mean,
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
They look great. I don't nothing else to add to that, but I think the bullet time probably is the most iconic part. They did not have that like slow-mo Matrix situation going on. It would have not been
Oh,
anything like
yeah.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I do remember seeing this video all the time on the
Yeah.
music channels in Hong Kong. This song was really big there.
Mm.
So whenever I hear this song, I picture the rooftop, like the bluish, kind of grayish tone
Oh,
with the
yeah.
buildings in the background. I think of that more than I do the scenes of the couple.
Mm.
Yeah. And yeah, performance-wise, I do wish we got more performances with live vocals during this era. Like, I was
Yeah.
scrolling through all the performances, and I could only find one that was with live vocals.
Yeah.
And I wonder if they were just kind of just over it. They were like, "We need to be together as little as possible, so we are not showing up early to sound check. Like, we are not doing more work than we need to." Uh, but with the lip sync performances, I think the dance routine with like the posing and the step hits and the
Oh,
freezing and
yeah,
stuff
yeah.
was actually
Yeah.
pretty effective.
Yes.
The one by one freezing at the end is
Yeah.
fun.
The back and forth.
And then that one live performance, the Jules Holland one. Oh my gosh, the harmonies are so good. I was like,
Yeah.
they need to put this on streaming. Like the live version is insanely good.
Yeah, I wonder what like, I feel like I know, but I don't know the full logistics of how it works, like, how you're getting a live version, like, obviously, you have to sit there and, like, make sure everyone signs off, especially the live performers, like, "Hey, this is us playing," even though it's not our production. That is a very complicated thing.
It is.
But but you're right, I agree. Certain things should definitely be streamable. But, yes, so this one, I like it a little bit more. I'm giving it a 9.5.
Okay, this one
Yes.
definitely gets a 10 for me.
Yes. All right, up next we have Whoopin' Over You. And this one was done by Johnny Douglas and Shaznay Lewis. Oh yeah, by the way, if you're still watching, still listening, and I know you are, you should be hitting that subscribe button. And leave us a comment. Let us know what's your favorite song. If you made it this far, you might as well participate with us. It's a good time here at CCTV. So make
Mhm.
sure you join us in perpetuity. Okay.
Okay, this one is so fun, and it
Yeah.
comes in at such a good time on the album because it's been quite serious up till now, I would
Yeah.
say.
Yeah.
Yeah, this one feels a little lighter. It's very funky. There's a heavy bass line, but then there's still a lot of synths in there, so it's not like it feels sonically like completely different from everything else.
Hmm.
Uh, but yeah, I think the chorus on this is one of the best ones on this album. It's so catchy. It's fun to sing along to, and
Yes.
I think just the phrase like "whooping over you," like I've never heard that phrase before.
Yeah, no.
So
Tough
that's
listen out.
definitely memorable, you
Yes,
know?
it is. Yeah.
Uh, and then, of course, we do get Nicole and Natalie actually leading the verses here. And we
Hmm.
get the return of the rapper Shaznay with some
Yes.
of those pre-choruses. And even Natalie gets to rap some lines in the second verse as well. So I think the whole vocal dynamic this time, it's just refreshing to hear all the different voices.
Yeah.
And you hear Melanie on those highs as well. Like, you really can hear all four of them in the harmony arrangement. I definitely think this could have been a single. Like, maybe they weren't going, I don't know. I'm trying to think of the argument against it, because maybe there's just nothing else sonically on the album that matches it. But I
Mhm.
don't know. I think it would have worked.
I mean, if y'all can sit there and do Lady Marmalade after doing Booty Call and, like,
Yeah,
there's no excuse. Yeah,
yeah.
so, you know,
Mhm.
and, like, Under the Bridge and things like that. So it's like, they could do whatever they wanted because they had a sound. I mean, this one definitely is like some psychedelic rock situation, so I guess it's like, "Oh, do we wanna Eh, okay. So the bass line is cool. The melody, the verses, and the chorus is so good. I like how the song feels, and I'm gonna keep talking about feeling with them because it's you're supposed to feel good or feel whatever it is that they're trying to get you to feel. At the
Mhm.
end of the day, that's what music's supposed to do. You either like it or you don't, but why do you like? Because you feel like this. It sounds good, but yeah, but how you feel when you hear it. And this one reminds me of Edwin Collins' "Girl Like You," like the "I never met a girl like you before,"
Oh.
where it sounds like not obviously not the same song, but it sounds like it's from a different time. It sounds like we've got a time capsule of a song that got sent through time, or we have to wait for it to get unloaded in the bottle. You know, we've unlocked this ancient musical artifact, and here's a phonograph, and here's this song, "Whoopin' Over You." But then you have these record scratches, and the top line that was written that's really modern, and there's a wiry synth in here that takes the song to a whole other planet, literally, like, it feels like an
Yes.
alien transmission, like, instead of, "We come in peace," it's like, "We come for penis," you know, like, it's great, I love that, it's so fun. 'Cause the whole, like, kitty cat line and, like,
Yep.
I got my little cowboy hat, yeah. Yeah, we don't come in peace, we come for penis. I'm here for that, go off. You get your human boy. But yes, wanna come along for the ride, I know that it's good enough. Lines like that, they're fun. This is the cheekiness that I was looking for, okay?
And that performance was really good. Like, even though they seemed kinda bored during this performance, and they're you can tell their mic levels are also off because like, Natalie's trying to, like, scream over everyone. I don't know, it was just, like, a lot going on there, but again, the vocal arrangement is super smart with the way they did the harmonies and who kind of overlaps where.
Yeah.
It was great.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, I give this one a 10 because it's like a
Okay. Yeah,
yeah,
this is up there for me. I'll give it a 9.5, yeah. Okay, moving on to track 7, we have I Feel You, which was done by Stuart Zender, Russell Nash, Femi Fem, and member Melanie Blatt. And Melanie wrote this in dedication to her daughter. So, our first Melanie co-write of the album,
yeah.
what do you think?
Okay, so this one's really sweet. This one reminds me of something that, Minnie Riperton could have sung to.
Mm.
Um, what is it? Oh my gosh, what's that song? The Black Gold of the Sun or Black something, but it's another one that kinda sounds like Where You Are by Jessie Ware as well, like, the chorus of this song, I kept singing Where You Are over it. Even before we got on, I was singing Where You Are when I came in. So there's a genre or a certain kind of sound and f again, feel, groove
Mhm.
that comes with this kind of sound, the song, and I like it. I feel like the delivery of the chorus sounds slurred, not like drunk slurred, it's more like it's fluid and its delivery is more legato than it is like sticky and sharp with staccatos. It feels free. I just overall like how it flows. I will say though, even though the choir in the song is not a bad idea, I will say that the song isn't big doesn't get big enough for me to feel as if the depth of sound is justified because you have all these voices, but the track is almost so minimal where it's not actually creating, that big moment. It just sounds like, "Oh, okay, concept of a plan. We like this. It's going somewhere," but it just
Mhm.
didn't get to its final destination for me, so I didn't feel like it was, like, really a big release. The song was dragging after a while as well, so I
Yeah,
feel
it's
like
long.
oh my god, I had a long drive today for work, and I was just like, "Dang, this song is still going." I was getting sleepy. It's just a very, like it feels like a lullaby in terms of, like, how it's, written and the production of it, and it bothers me because like, the song is so long, but then you get a stringed outro. It was something. It would've been nice to hear it sooner. It would've been nice to hear with the chorus. It would've been nicer to hear it just, like, maybe 2 minutes earlier. So
Yeah, I actually think that that whole "Never give up on your love," that whole part,
Mhm.
that coulda just been the outro. Like, you
Yeah.
coulda just had that as the outro, then do the strings. It didn't need to come back to the choruses again, because then you do get another full minute, minute and a half of the chorus again, so
Ah!
that would be where I would do the little radio edit. Uh,
Yep.
but yeah,
Come
I
on.
think the song is very pretty. Like, the
Yes.
production is interesting.
Mhm.
It is in I don't know, it's I wonder kind of where the album was before they got William Orbit involved,
Uh,
because it definitely because we are a few years after the first album, and the
mhm.
album came out a whole year after it was supposed to, and I think it was
Mm,
because of this opportunity with William Orbit, and
mm.
songs like Distance and the KG stuff, I think, was all written before
Oh,
that, but,
okay.
obviously, it's like, I feel like this whole dreamy kinda thing kinda came after the fact, so it's just
Yeah.
interesting that they then had all the writers and producers, not all of them, but a lot of the other writers and producers involved also kind of follow that
Mm.
brief,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
guess.
Yeah.
Um, because yeah, this has that same kind of thing where the vocals are very warm, the lyrics are very kind of cheesy, but again very warm. But then there's a coldness in the production, and that does make it a little cooler, and it's not like a typical ballad. So I guess
Yeah.
that makes it stand out a little more. I think
Mhm.
melodically, the pre-chorus is probably my favorite part. Like, that part, I think, stands out the most to me. The actual chorus is only okay,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think.
absolutely, yeah.
And you make good points on the choir because I also didn't feel they were very necessary.
Mm, yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. So
yeah.
I'll give this one a 7.5.
I'm sitting at a 7. It's in the
Yeah.
middle. It's down in the middle.
Yeah. Yeah.
Up next is number 8, Surrender, and this was done by William Orbit and Shaznay Lewis. Promotional copies of Surrender started to circulate in January 2001, indicating that it was likely going to be the 4th single from the album. Oh, it could
Hmm.
have been. Oh,
You think it would have been a good single?
not the greatest, but anything would be better than Hooked Up. I'm
Well,
not
that would have been the third single. So this would have been after that.
I know, I'm just bitter about
I
it.
don't think this would have been a good fourth
No.
single at all.
No.
I feel like maybe they were just like, let's just release all the William Orbit songs, maybe.
Ugh, yeah, because the name in itself is
Yeah, because
like,
I can't think of any
it's
other reason why they
William.
would release this one. Not
Right.
that I think it's a bad song. I just don't
Yeah.
think it doesn't do anything that Black Coffee and Pure Shores don't do
Valid,
better.
yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm, valid.
Uh, I mean, it definitely feels mature, very sexy lyrics. I do enjoy the melody because there's like a creepiness to it almost.
Yeah.
There is a darkness to it. It's like, oh, like it's like you are ready to surrender, but then it's also like, will this person take advantage of you? Like, I don't
No, because
know.
literally there's a line about saying, like, she's watching the guy move, and she's like, "I'm like a dead man, I don't move." I hate that line so much.
Yeah,
It
there's a
sounds
creepiness to it.
sounds
There
unrealistic.
is.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But
Yeah.
I do like the way the chorus is. I think the way the melody is, I don't know, there's like an interesting drive to it.
Yeah.
And I love Shaznay's surrender. I love those
Oh,
little
yeah.
chants in the back. That might be my favorite part, actually. What I do not like
Mhm.
is that spoken moment in the middle. I wouldn't even
Oh.
call it a rap.
Oh,
It's a
Bart
spoken
Simpson?
moment.
Bart
Bart
Simpson?
Simpson,
Yeah, she sounds
stop.
like Bart. He said, "Don't have a cow, man. Gonna have people love each other, man." I was like, "Get me out of here."
Yeah, that is the most bizarre thing. I was like, that is a choice.
Yeah, it was a
And
bad
honestly, the
one.
whole structure of the song is a little odd. Like the second verse has all these random, kind of unrelated moments.
Yeah.
Like I feel like if it was a single, it would need to be rearranged. Like I don't
Yeah.
get it. But I think the production is great too. I think it is more intense, I guess, than Black Coffee and Pure Shores are.
Mhm,
So
mhm.
it is different from the other Orbit songs. I just don't think it could have been a single.
That's valid. I'm, like, grappling with, like, my thoughts about this song because, like I said, the Bart Simpson coming in, like, he's narrating the nasty time. "Well, you're supposed to love each other. You love what you wanna love," and I was like, "Whoa, get me out of here. Oh, get me out of here." So
Yeah.
yeah, this sound of the 2000s is like really distinct. Like it reminds me of something that would have gone off in a TV show like Charmed. Like Cole and Phoebe getting it on. This would be the song playing. Or
Mm,
like, Prue with one of her boyfriends because she definitely had some boyfriends too. But either way, it just feels like something that would have been going off in the background of Charmed. P3, the band is
yes.
singing, you know what I'm saying? The echo and effects put on the guitar really put me in a trance. Like it's very trance like. And then the music goes boing, boing, boing. There's some boing, boing, boings in there. I legit have in my notes boyoings. There's
Yes.
a lot of boyoings. So you have all that spatial again, aliens. I come for penis, peace. Excuse me. I come
I
for a
mean, this
piece
is
of your
for
penis.
for penis too, yeah.
Yeah, I come for a piece of your peen. So I'll say peen. Come for a piece of your peen. Um, but yeah, I enjoyed the storytelling of the song. I think that's the best part of the song because you get the whole build of like we're together and we're drinking a little bit. And I'm kind of like I'm a lush for the conversation and also for this wine that I'm drinking. It builds tension in a fun way. It makes me feel like I'm in the room with them. Like a little pervy bug on the wall. Like kiss my feet and dress me. Homie's putting the moves, okay? But again, that dead man, like a dead man, I don't move line, girl, it makes you think you're there unwillingly. So to what you said, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It's effective. I will say certain lines like that kind of took me out and kind of affected my score. And then Bart coming in. Because I was like, what is this song? This is like a
Yeah, that
revolution?
was weird.
A
The rap is
PSA?
weird.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
wasn't great. It wasn't great.
Yeah.
Spoken word.
Yeah, you're right, it's not a rap. Oh, man. Okay, but yeah, I will actually give it an 8. I will say
Mhm.
this is not one I have listened to in a long time,
Yeah,
but I actually like it a little more than I thought I did. So, yeah.
that's valid. Okay, I was kind of dancing in between two scores.
Okay.
I feel like if I listen to it again, I'll be like, "Oh yeah, I like this song," and then get upset that Bart's there. So I'll give it a dang, I'll give it a 7.5. My score might go back to the 8, but, like,
Mm,
yeah, it started at 8.5, but then it
that's
just dropped.
valid.
I heard Bart coming.
Stop. Gosh, Bart. Okay, moving on to track 9, we have Ha Ha, which is done by Johnny Douglas and Melanie. So yeah, we have the other Melanie co-write. This
Yeah.
one's more upbeat. What do you think?
Okay, so this song is my response to the people who try to clock us in the comments. Listen, the CCTV comment moderator goes in. It's a very haha moment. Because this song is very much like you doubted me, but here we are with the facts. And the fact is the group is selling records and they have their own houses and they made it. We always love a good we made it song. But yeah, the chorus is one, two, buckle my shoes. So of course that familiarity was there. A little lazy, but whatever. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. And if it's easy to do, just throw it in there. The song has bounce, groove, and vocal swing. It's giving me first album. The ha-has are addictive. That laugh out loud I enjoy because I was like, "Ooh, is this song called LOL?" When I was just listening and not paying attention, I was like, "Ooh, not them coining the phrase." Penny nickel dime coined the phrase. They did not penny nickel dime coin it. I thought they did, but they just said haha. Shaznay being the principal teacher in that second verse made me think of Left Eye. It's such a shame that the 2 never crossed paths. Like, the song totally reminds me of something that TLC could have done. They could have covered this, whatever. Like, T-Boz
Yeah.
on the verse, Chili on the harmonies. This rap that Shaznay actually has in here is really good.
Yes.
I'm here for the "Ha ha, I'm rich," so it's good that she had that moment there. Melanie wrote a good song. It was very, autobiographical, and I can relate to a certain extent. The chorus, again, was, like, the laziest part of the song, but it's not bad, you know?
Yeah. I mean, I don't mind the kind of 1, 2
Yes.
line,
Yeah,
3,
yeah.
4 line. I don't actually
Yeah.
mind that. There's a fun bounce to it. Yeah,
Yeah.
and it's catchy. I will say this is another one I totally forgot about. This is not one I've listened
Valid.
to in a long time. And again, like Surrender, I actually like it more than I remember. But it
Mm.
does feel kind of the most fillerish of the songs we've heard so far.
Huh.
Because it's just not
Yeah.
that memorable, I
Yeah.
would say.
Yeah.
I think again, I like the concept. Like I like the lyrics of it. I like elements of it, like Shaznay's verse.
Mhm.
Um, but I feel like as a whole, it's just like it's better than okay, but not by that much.
Yeah, yeah, my score
Yeah.
reflects that, not by much.
Yeah. So what'd you give it?
I'll give it a 7.5, so it's, like, right where the other song was, kinda it's okay.
Okay. I mean, yeah, I think I'm between the 7.5 and 8. I do
Mhm.
like Surrender more though, so I guess I will go 7.5.
Ooh, see? That's why I
Yeah,
was giving
that's
you a hard
valid.
time. Shoot. Dang it. Can't go back now. If you made a mistake like I have, please leave it in the comments between the 2 if you were like me, stuck. Moving right along, we have Love is Love by Johnny Douglas and Shaznay Lewis. So, Chris, I'm not gonna hold you. When I saw the title, I was like, wow, they were progressive. Yes. The Alphabet Kids are dancing and singing. So I thought that was this. What are your thoughts about this one?
Yeah, not so much.
Yeah.
Yeah, this one's a fun one. I
Mhm.
really like the chorus of it. It almost feels like though it doesn't hit its full potential for some
Mhm.
reason. Like
Um,
I feel like if this was given some oomph, like some
yeah.
new production and stuff, it probably could like, it could have been a single, but I
Yeah.
think in its current form, maybe not so much. I like the way the verse is written with kind of the slight overlap of each line, but Shaznay basically sings almost the entire thing, so I think
Oh,
that was a
nice.
missed opportunity there as
Yeah.
for that back and forth. Um, 'Cause yeah, there's just so much potential here, like, especially even in that second verse when she bumps up the octave,
Yeah.
and I was like, "Oh, that would have been the perfect time for Natalie to come and just, like, belt her face off for 2 lines." Because even the chorus sounds very Shaznay heavy, like, even in those harmonies.
Mhm.
So in a way, it almost sounds like a Shaznay solo song.
Yeah.
But then we do get Natalie kinda randomly saying the chorus and that, like, whisper, breathy kinda thing, and then she does some crazy great ad libs at the end.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think the whole thing is. I feel like maybe that is maybe why it feels fillery because you can't hear the 4 of them in that same kind of blend that you get in their signature sound.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's good. There's a lot of different hooks to grab onto, and I like the lyrics as well. Um, I think it's better than the last 2 tracks we listened to.
Huh.
I'll say that.
Oh, valid.
Yeah.
Okay. I like this whole style of pop from the 2000s. Whoever originated the guitar and glitchy drum patterns, like who did that? Like I I feel like it just came
Mm,
out of nowhere and everyone was doing it, but, like, I know someone originated it, you know?
yeah.
The song feels like I agree with you. It feels like it's scratching the surface of being great. Um, I listened to some of the Appletons, songs like Fantasy and Don't Worry, and the
Oh,
sisters
yeah.
they could have sung more, like, come on.
Oh, yeah.
I get that she's writing the songs, like, I get that Shazne's writing the songs, she can write a mean song, but, like, honey, why not write parts for your girls? That's
She'll make up for this later.
I know, and it's tough because like, when you're young and you're just excited, and you just like, "I wanna get into the booth, I wanna get into the studio, I wanna be there." Um, if I have to go early, that means I'm singing the part. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Mm,
it's tough, I get it, but it just stinks. I'm like, "You're so capable, and you don't have to be." There's 14 tracks. There's over 10 tracks on this album, you coulda let someone else, you know? So that's when I
mm,
get a little like, "Okay, alright." It's just at this point in the album as a group, I like to hear another voice belting. I think what really kills this for me is the chorus. It's okay. It's
mm.
okay. The bridge is a moment in terms of production. The lyrics were lazy,
Yeah.
but I like the crashing sounds at the end before the spoken part. Um, but yeah, I mean, this is just shy of all throughout this song. Just shy
Yeah.
of. Yeah, just shy ofs. Excuse me.
Yeah, not
So yeah.
fully developed.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, demo
Yeah.
that just got mastered a little bit.
A little bit.
A
But
little
yeah, I like the foundation, though. I'll give it an 8.5.
Is it ain't for me.
Okay. Moving on to Ready, Willing, and Able, which was done by KG and Shaznay Lewis. And this was the other track, along with Distance, that was previewed on their first arena tour and also performed at various events.
Word.
Mhm.
Okay. This sounds so forlorn and it's pensive, but the lyrics are like, they're vulnerable, obviously fitting it, but the production itself just sounds very like lonely and isolated. Like it just makes me feel like someone who doesn't have like a place to go, you know? And I guess when you're like dealing with love, you don't know where to put your feelings and you're hoping that someone will accept them, it does make sense. So I like the way that it was written too. It wasn't they didn't take Shazner, did not take the approach of life is so hard. Life is so hard. It was more like, okay, love is kind of tough for me. I'm trying to figure this out. I want to figure it out with you. I will say though, with this song, I think the group may suffer a little bit too much for being chill. Like there is such a thing as being too chill because this song would have gone off with some belting. Like it feels like the song wants to explode. It feels like even the thematic elements of the lyrics, it wants to go somewhere. It wants to just really have that release. It wants to
Mm.
burst. Again, it wants to explode, but all it does is swell. So it just goes big, 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 big puff, and then kind of deflates because the song kind of just it's over. It is a very smexy song. I appreciate the vulnerability. But yeah, it's a real fear of giving someone your heart. But again, just shy of something else. Not
Yeah.
terribly so like the other one, but I was like, dang, this song deserves moment.
Yeah, no, that's not I mean, Natalie kinda gives it to you live,
Yeah.
but then
Yep.
she's not heard really on the studio version.
No.
One
No.
ad lib stays, that's it.
Go ahead, Natalie. Go ahead, girl.
Yeah. Yeah, this one's good. It does remind me of track 11 on the first album, Take the Key.
Mm,
Very
mhm.
similar vibe there.
Oh, yeah.
But that one, the chill thing made a bit more sense. I agree with you. This one also feels like it has the potential to be something so much bigger
Mm,
than it ended up being.
mm.
And I actually do remember, I think maybe seeing like a bootleg or just like really bad recording of them singing this live,
Oh,
like
yeah?
before the studio version came out. And I remember just being so annoyed that Natalie was taken off
They said,
for
"Girl, shut up."
that
Okay.
moment. Yeah. But yeah, I think the lyrics are interesting because it's like the lyrics are that they're ready, willing, and able to embrace this love. But there is like you said, it is scary. There's some hesitancy, even if you
Mhm.
are ready,
Yeah.
and it does a really good job of conveying those emotions, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
So in that way, I think it was written really well. And I love the acoustic guitar solo in the middle.
Mhm.
Just something very different than what we've heard on the rest of the album so far. And the whole production is very nice. Sounds very, very full.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it's good. But yeah, I feel like it needed a little bit more oomph, like what you've been saying. So yeah, I'll give it an 8.
I also give it an 8. So, yes, we are now at the final track of the standard album. We are at the title track, Saints and Sinners, and this was done by Michelle Escoffery. KG and Shaznay Lewis. Whoa, boy,
Mm.
I can only imagine what her royalties look like. Go ahead, girl.
Yes. Oh man, I could see this being such a good concert opener.
Yeah,
Like the
yeah,
heavy electric guitar, the heavy drums, the way it's produced, it's like already in a live arrangement. It's so, so good.
yeah,
It's just very, very powerful. And it does have a lot more energy than like the last like 5 or 6 songs we've heard. So it's
yeah,
quite refreshing
yeah,
as it comes to the end of the album. And yeah, there's a lot of built-in like audience participation here too. There's like the kind of question and answer, kind of call and
yeah,
response kind of
yeah.
thing. Like I love the do you want to go fast? Do you want to go slow? Like I love that. I think that's so much fun. Um and again,
Mm,
you can hear all 4 members really well. Like you get
yeah,
Nicole getting to do a bunch of these like fun little talky parts. Natalie
yes.
gets a verse. Melanie's on the highs. Jasmine, of course, is kind of leading the whole thing.
Mhm.
Just really great kind of just balance of the 4. It just sounds fun to sing.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Can I say something about the Shaznay? I remember when you first showed me All Saints. You are like the second person that showed me because I had a friend that's like like older than both of us who
Mhm.
showed me them too because she likes just songs like this and
Yeah.
Britpop. And I remember like thinking to myself, I am surprised they're letting the black lady sing so much. Come to find out, the black lady was writing all the songs. So kudos
Yep.
there. I know that sounds so messed up. Like if you don't understand, not shame on you, but like y'all, come on. They're a girl group. First of all, they're a pop girl group, and she's like head songwriter for this girl group.
That's right.
That's super rare even now. And then for her to be the black member, the only black member to be have that kind of power and sway within the group is it's really impressive. Even with my like little criticism here and there, it doesn't mean she's a bad person. It's just wow, it's impressive.
Mhm.
Um, this is a song that utilizes all of their voices, which means she is very much capable of doing the four-person baton pass.
Yeah.
I wish it would happen more. Um, here and there you can appreciate it, obviously. Um, and just understanding what your girls' voices sound like, how they sound in certain parts, and just it takes a little bit of extra work, but when you take that time, you get songs like this. Again, this could have been a single over hooked up. I've said it about 3,000 times. There's a couple songs that could have been a single over hooked up. Like the whole take you by your soul, make you lose control. Like, oh my God. There's not a single lady now that I can think of that do not think about this, like, "Oh, yeah, I'm trying to be in control. I'm this girl, I'm that girl, Imma snatch him up by his." We all do it. We all do it. It's
Mm.
fun. It's very, like, assertive. It's sexy. It's cool. It's fun, and I think the vocalizing after that first chorus is so fun. The ahs and the bass line before the music falls away and, like, the "Please forgive me." I was like, "Ooh, go off. Go
Yes.
out." Moments like that is what I want in a song. It's so well written, it's fun, and again, you're like, "Who's that? Who said that part?" Because I caught myself being like, "Wait, who said that part?" Because I didn't recognize who it was. I'm like, "It's not Shaz. Oh my
Yeah.
goodness, who is that?" It feels like rock and R&B combined to make this badass track about a romp. Nothing sincere about this. It's
Mhm.
just confident and gimme, gimme, gimme. Booty call is quaking in her boots.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, this is a good
Yeah,
booty call part 2, yeah.
right? So 10 for me, 10.
Ooh, okay,
Yeah.
I will give it a 9. Yes,
Yeah.
and actually, I do have a question for the fans because I've seen people say they actually did perform this once on TV, but
Mm.
no one has ever, like, ripped it, like, it digitally. So,
Mm.
putting it out there, someone find this performance, please.
Bring it, bring it.
Oh man. Okay, so that is the end of the standard album. There are, of course, a couple bonus tracks that are on the UK version of the album and on the singles as well.
Yes.
But we will discuss that in our Patreon exclusive bonus episode. So if you want to hear us talk about some great bonus tracks, actually,
Yeah.
definitely head over to patreon.com/cctv plus. But for now, we're now at our cut or keep section. So if you had to cut a song off this album, what would you cut and why?
Okay, so oops, I be cackling like that's terrible. Oh my goodness. If it wasn't obvious, it's hooked up, goodbye, goodbye. Like y'all can do so much better. I feel like I mean, there's
Mm.
another song I was thinking of, but I feel like you're gonna say it anyway. Yeah, hooked up can go. Cause why is she there?
Ooh, I wonder if we're thinking of the same one. Because I will actually cut I Feel You. Is that what you were thinking?
Ooh, yeah, it was dragging ass. So
Yeah, it's a little long, and I feel like there are some amazing All Saints ballads and Melanie written ballads as well, especially when you get into some of the later albums. And
mhm.
so this one, I don't need it.
I don't need
Yeah.
it. Okay.
Okay, if I had to keep a song, let's do not the singles.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I guess for me, I won't do a single because I would obviously choose one of those. I will keep "Whoopin' Over You."
Oh, I like that song, it's
Yeah,
so cute.
yeah,
Um, I think I'm gonna keep Saints and Sinners
yeah,
because it's the most fun I've heard from them aside from Lady Marmalade.
yeah. I mean, I agree. I think it could have been a single as well.
Yeah, I think that
Yeah.
yeah, great, great.
Oh man. Okay, so that's the second album. So what do
Yeah.
you think? Final rating, overall thoughts?
Yeah, so I'm not gonna lie to you. When I listened to this album, Pure Shores played, and I was like, Lord, I don't know if I can get through this album. Because, like I said, this is for me, my sensibilities. I was not in the mood. I was not having it. Pure Shores is not my favorite song on this album, and I'm partly, well, how could you be so daft? It's number one, just because y'all liked it back in the day, you know. So
Yeah.
I think even still, I can appreciate that the song is well written. So I was like, "Oh, man, I don't know about this one, big dog." But then I got to the album and I was like, "Okay, wait, it makes sense with the whole project. It's not just like this outlier." Because I like really like honed in on album number 1. So I
Yeah.
came in thinking it was going to sound similar to that. So when I didn't receive it, that was my fault. I should not do that because I know as an artist myself, I don't want people to expect the same thing. So I should have been a little bit more like open to the idea. And then William Orbit, a name that did not come to my mind as to
Yeah.
what I was like, okay, okay, whatever. Duh, should have realized. And I think that would have helped me listen to it with a little bit more open ears. But eventually, obviously, I came around because none of my scores even hit 6.5s. Didn't get anything below 7. So I think it's a good album. It's a solid album. It's a shame that this was kind of like the last album before like Studio One, because that large gap, there's so many
Mhm.
sounds and things they could have explored. You
Yeah.
know? But obviously you leave to come back to even better or, the album didn't do that well, Studio One, unfortunately. But you leave to come back with newer informations, different ways of approaching things. So it's cool. This album's solid. I would say it's solid.
Yeah. I do think it's solid. I don't think it's as good as their first album.
Yeah.
I think what I had mentioned earlier, where you do kind of have the William Orbit kind of sound, even in the songs that he wasn't involved in. Then you still have KG there to kind of keep it with the older sound. I don't think it's a very cohesive album.
Mhm.
Like it is kind of them. Like I do wonder what the conversation was or what those types of pressures were, where they were like,
Ooh.
we need half this album to sound like William Orbit, regardless of whether
Yeah.
he's involved or not. And that's maybe
The brief,
where
yeah.
that push and pull came from. Because I wonder
Yeah.
what Chazné wanted to do without those influences, right?
Mm.
Um, I do think the first half is a lot stronger than the second half. Like that middle section of the album does kind of,
Oof.
I don't know, it's
Oof.
not as good,
Yeah.
but I think as a whole, it's still not a bad project at
Yeah.
all. I do think it's their worst album out of their 5.
Hmm.
Uh,
Interesting.
yeah.
Okay.
And then as we get into the bonus tracks, I think
Oh, yeah.
some of them are a lot better than some
Yeah,
of
no,
the
you're
tracks
right.
on the
No, you're
album as
right. Yeah.
well. So yeah, I pretty much just I think I also just associate this album with how unhappy they were as well. So that might be another side to it too, where you could tell that they just weren't like really in it anymore. So
Valid.
yeah,
Valid.
but I still really like this album. Like, I still think some of the songs on here are some of the best, like across All Saints discography.
Okay.
So yeah, I guess as a whole, I will give it an 8.
Oh, I didn't get my score. Ooh, you know what?
Yeah.
I'm in the middle of the road. I'll give it a 7.5. I
Okay.
feel like there is some potential here and there. Um, yeah, so it's like right in the middle, just shy of.
Okay.
Because of the bonus, you're so right.
Yeah.
You're so right. Yeah.
Oh man. Okay. Well, please join us over at Patreon to check out our discussion on the bonus episode. But until then, let us know what you all think about All Saints' second album, Saints and Sinners. Please let us know in the comments. And also let us know what other albums you'd like to hear us review. Or we can even go into the solo All Saints stuff. Let us know. Definitely hang out with us and the crew on Patreon. And of course, you can message us at CCTV Pops on social media. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for our YouTube channel. If you're enjoying the show on a podcast platform, please give us a follow, rating, and review because it really helps us on the algorithm. So
Yes.
until next time, that's Chantel.
That's Chris.
And we're signing off from CCTV, the nonstop pop show.
You wanna